Welcome to the PhysicalEducator.com's Tactical Games database. Today we're going to be looking at an invasion game called Slide Tag and breaking it down to 4 builds. In build 1, we're going to be teaching the students about the playing area. Divide your class into 4 teams and have all the students stand on one end of the playing area. Once the students are set up, the teacher will call out a team's color. If a team's color is called, that team has to run across the playing area and then make their way back to the start by going outside of the sidelines. This build is used to help the students warm up and to teach them how to return to the start of the playing area. Once all the teams have had a turn to run a couple of times and everybody's warmed up, it's time to move on to build 2. In build 2, we're going to build up the playing area by adding some cones and creating some lines. The teacher will then name 2 of the 4 teams that will start off as the defensive team and work together to defend these lines. Defensive players must keep both feet on the line and slide across the line to defend it. They are allowed to reach in front of them if there's a player directly in front of them, however, they may not reach behind them. In other words, if an offensive player makes it past their line, they no longer have to worry about the defense on that line. The offensive players in the game try and make it past all the defensive lines into the end zone. If an offensive player is tagged, they have to exit through the sideline and go back to the start. For the defensive players, this build is especially great for working on communication. For the offensive players, it's very good for sending misleading signals to a defense and attack a zone. Once an offensive player is made out all the way to the end zone, they go back to the start. Their goal is to see how many times they can accomplish this within a time frame. Once that time frame is up, the teacher makes the call and the 2 teams switch roles. For build 3 of the game, we're going to add a little bit extra pressure to the game by adding some beanbags in the end zone. Now the players have to compete trying to make their way to the end zone, and once they get there, they have to try and collect the beanbag and bring it back to the beginning. The goal of the game now is to try and collect more beanbags than the other team during your turn on offense. This build adds a fun time constraint to the game, which can modify the students' use of tactics. In the final build of the game, we will allow the defensive players to pivot on and off of their line. This will allow the defensive players to tag players who are not only slightly ahead of them, but also slightly behind them, which will therefore increase the difficulty of the game for the offensive players. So that's Slide Tag, a fun invasion game broken down to 4 different builds. If you're looking for extra information on Slide Tag, such as equipment uses, safety rules, tactical problems, or discussion questions, you can find all of this information at the PhysicalEducator.com's Tactical Games database. Thank you for watching, and happy teaching!